Coming up on Spectrum News.
The devil is busy. The devil is busy.
Reaction from the aunt of Jarvis Alexander, the teen tragically killed along with Jaquela Young after a mass shooting at a house party Saturday. I'm Karen Edwards. This is Spectrum News. We'll have a quick check of your forecast a little later. First, tonight's top story. Rochester police continue looking for those responsible for a deadly mass shooting that killed 2 teens and injured 14 others this weekend. Police say there were between 100 and 200 people trying to leave a backyard party when officers got to the scene just after midnight Saturday on Pennsylvania Avenue. They say witnesses say an argument escalated into a gunfight between at least 3 or 4 suspects. 19-year-olds Jaquela Young and Jarvis Alexander were caught in the crossfire and killed. Police do not believe they were the intended victims. Police say those injured are between the ages of 17 and 23. They are all expected to recover. Police don't expect to be giving many more details, that is, in the next few days because of the sheer amount of investigative work that needs to be done. Friends and family of those killed and hurt in Saturday morning's mass shooting returned to the scene Sunday to pay their respects and call on anyone who knows something about the deadly shooting to come forward. Our Casey Bortnick talked with the aunt of one of the victims who says lessons must be learned.
The devil is busy. The devil is busy.
Candles, balloons, and handwritten messages.
It makes no sense at all.
With the police tape now removed, this is all that's left. A difficult reminder of what happened here early Saturday morning.
Jarvis was an outgoing, energized young man looking forward to going to college.
Jarvis Alexander and Jaquela Young were just 2 of more than 100 people who attended a gathering in Rochester's Market View Heights neighborhood. Police say all were innocent bystanders in a gunfight at a party meant to celebrate a transition from high school to college.
I just don't understand how something so beautiful could turn into such a tragedy.
Janice Duvall says her nephew was a track star at UPrep. She says Jarvis was one of 5 boys and an inspiration to his family. His grief-stricken parents and siblings still trying to get their heads around what happened.
Put the guns down and start hugging people and tell them how much you love them.
Now, this makeshift memorial behind me continued to grow throughout the day as friends and family returned here to the scene to pay their respects to Jarvis. And with potentially hundreds of people at this party, Jarvis's aunt tells me she believes there's someone out there who knows something. She's calling on that person to come forward.
I think the cops are doing the best investigation that they can. We're just going to have to be patient and wait for answers. Somebody will come forward. I believe that with all my heart.
And while this party may have been well-intended, Janice says it got out of control. And in the middle of a pandemic, she hopes it will serve as a powerful lesson.
They've got to learn that we got to limit our gatherings. We can't do this anymore because some ignorant person is going to come and do something violent. That's what's going on in this town.
And while she waits and prays for justice, Janice has a simple message for those responsible for so much heartache.
I want them to know that they made a mistake. That taking lives is not the way to answer any questions.
In Rochester, Casey Bortnick, Spectrum News.
It's a difficult time for students and faculty at the University Preparatory Charter School as they mourn the loss of former student Jarvis Alexander, killed in Saturday's mass shooting. It's the second death of a UPrep student in a month. Alexander was a 2019 graduate of UPrep and was a standout athlete, according to the school's CEO. UPrep provided counselors to students and staff to help cope with Jarvis's death.
And this school services brown and black young men. So for us to lose a life is heartbreaking. It's challenging because we're doing all we can to try and make a better way for them. And when unfortunate incidents of violence happen, and it's definitely unnecessary when you see it of a young man that has so much promise, it brings a tear to your eye because his family won't get a chance to see how great he was going to become.
The school community is continuing to mourn the loss of Darius Dillard as well, who was killed just 2 weeks ago. Jaquela Young graduated from East High School in 2019, where we're told she made an impact as a student ambassador and cheer team captain. East High opened its doors Sunday to offer counseling and support services for current and former students. Superintendent Sean Nelms tells us many were impacted by the shooting, and they wanted to offer a space for students to come together to grieve, talk, and find a way to deal with such tragedy. East is open again Monday from 9 a.m. to noon for current and former students. Counseling services will be available Monday at 5 city art centers from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Counselors will be at the Adams Street, Carter Street, Thomas P. Ryan, Trenton and Pamela Jackson, and the David Gant centers. The city is asking everyone who might be in need to call 211, the 211 Lifeline 24/7 crisis hotline. After meeting with Daniel Prude's family and protesters, Attorney General Letitia James touched on several topics when talking to reporters Sunday. Her main message: she is seeking justice for Daniel Prude. James says she was outraged when she saw the footage. She announced her office will release body cam videos earlier during investigations, emphasizing that footage along with videos from civilians is crucial in any investigation. James also reconfirms what her office previously said, that the office did not in any way tell local authorities to suppress the video of Prude's arrest. James says she came to Rochester to provide justice to the Prude family and go forward with the grand jury process in any manner that's respectful, fair, and provides accountability to the public and his family.
I can only promise individuals one thing: I will not predetermine the outcome. I will not guarantee you an outcome, but I will guarantee you fairness. What I will guarantee you that we will be thorough, and I will guarantee that we will be transparent to the extent that we can.
She also says protesters have the right to protest peacefully. Her office is looking at whether police violated protesters' rights during recent marches. Dozens celebrated the life of Daniel Prude Sunday afternoon at Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Park on what would have been his 42nd birthday. He's the man whose death in police custody in March has sparked weeks of protest. Our news reporter Philip Boudreau has more on the message they want to send on his birthday.
For more than 2 weeks, protesters have sought justice for Daniel Prude. But on his birthday, the goal was to get the community better acquainted with the man they are fighting for. His brother Joe will never forget how funny, competitive, and caring he was.
He was a real individual. You know, an individual that if he seen someone out here doing bad at their worst, and if he couldn't help you at that precise time, and he knew some friends that can lend a hand, he's going to get that for you. I'm talking about take the shirt off his back. He don't care how cold it is outside.
The demands that Free the People Rock have made since the beginning of their protest were also kept at the forefront of their celebration. They are still seeking the firing and prosecutions of the officers involved in Daniel's arrest and resignations from the Rochester mayor and deputy mayor and the Monroe County District Attorney.
We are so sad that he had to be a martyr in our system. However, we will continue to uplift his name. He did not die in vain. We will always make sure Daniel Prude's name is mentioned, especially when it comes to creating systemic change in not only the city of Rochester, but the whole country.
While not every change sought after has happened, Joe already knows his brother's death has sparked a fire under him.
I can't say it was meant to happen, but it was destined for him to make me stand up. Daniel, if you're listening to me, man, I love you. You'll never be forgotten, and this march gonna keep going.
Yes!
In Rochester, Philip Boudreau, Spectrum News.
Free the People Rock also applauded the New York Attorney General's decision to speed up the release of body cam video. Stanley Martin, one of the leaders of the group, says this footage can give the community a clearer picture of what happens as opposed to only relying on police reports.
It allows you to see a man on the ground begging for help, you know, his brother called for help and being brutally murdered. So we think it's important for the public to know about these things, especially when this is a crime committed by people we pay.
The lawyer for Daniel Prude's family says there are documents the city of Rochester has not provided him. Elliot Shields says he was supposed to get all communications between the RPD and city employees about Prude's death, but he claims the city said nothing existed. He says Deputy Mayor James Smith's interview with the Democrat and Chronicle shows there are additional documents. Shield also alleges there were texts from Mayor Lovely Warren and former police chief Laurent Singletary. He says he plans on serving the city with papers, and it will have 21 days to formally respond.